welcome to the channel if you've not seen it before. This is a bit of a departure. Normally I'll be doing gigs, gig photography, galleries, things like that, but I just wanted to talk about something that happened after a gig I went to in Swansea a few nights ago. One of the self-imposed remits of my channel, as well as music, is to talk more openly about mental health, and generally that will be my own mental health, but the mental health aspect kind of ties in with what happened. So I'd been to a gig at Hangar 18. It was an Italian band called Secret Rule, symphonic rock, and they were exceptional. But I was leaving the venue probably around 11:30, walking up the hill towards the main drag back to where I'd parked the car. And as I walked up, a wheelchair streaked past me up the hill. And I didn't think anything of it. But as I approached the top of the hill, this wheelchair was now kind of on the pavement in the path where I was. And I looked at this guy and again didn't think too much of it. And he said, "My heart is beating out of my chest." I thought, well, that's peculiar, but I didn't say anything. And then he said, "Feel it." And I thought, oh, what? What are you on about, He's like, "Go on." He said, "Put your hand here." So I reached out, and sure enough, his heart was racing. But then equally, he had just powered his way up a hill, so I wasn't overly surprised. But then he started talking about the pain in his chest, and it was very clear quite quickly that it wasn't a physical pain he was talking about. He was talking about emotional pain that he was feeling. But equally, it was very, very apparent that he was very, very angry. He was a very, very angry chap. He had no legs. On his right hand, the fingers were mostly stumps. So he had his difficulties quite clearly, but it was also evident that he was an absolute ball of rage. He was an absolute explosion waiting to happen, and the anger was very, very clearly just bubbling under the surface. Anyway, I stayed with the guy as he was sort of saying about this pain that he had, and it soon became quite clear to me that the guy was very, very low. And he actually said, I really just wanted it all to end. I want it all to finish. It just became quite clear to me that even though his words indicate that he was suicidal, he just seemed angry and very, very bitter. And he added a few facts: that he was adopted, that he'd been abused, and that as a general rule, life had dealt him a pretty crappy hand. So I listened. We just sat down in a shop doorway and he just talked. And I said nothing. I didn't interrupt him. I just listened to him. I would occasionally make a point or repeat something back just to show him I was listening to him. And slowly but surely he began to calm down. And I actually explained to him that it was his anger that was completely in control of him. Every time he was in any given situation, the anger would come first. Even as we were talking, he heard some people just down the road who were just making some sort of noise, and immediately his eyes shot over towards them and he started to rage again. He was, and I just said to him, "That's the anger." And he said, "I could go down there and take them all out. But, you know, I could do them all, and look at me, I'm in a wheelchair. How can I do that?" And I said, "It's because of the adrenaline. It's because you are just fueled by this rage. It's the anger." And I said, "Yeah, okay, if you did go down there and if you did put them all in hospital or whatever, would you feel any better? Would it solve anything?" And he said, "Well, no, of course it wouldn't really." And I said, "Well, that's the anger. You know, yes, I get that you need to release the anger, but it's not constructive. It's not helping you. You know, you keep saying that life is so unfair, and yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's difficult. But, you know, anger as an emotion has its uses. It's developed through the animal kingdom as something to help us survive. But it can be very, very counterproductive. So, you know, I just continued talking to this guy and talking to him about his anger. And I just said, I've got no answers. There is no magic wand. I don't know how you can learn to deal with this. You know, it's going to take a lot of hard work. But I said to him, just focus on making tomorrow 1% better than today. And then you'll be making progress. You'll be further away from where you were and further towards where you want to go." And he nodded along. And then he said, "Do you know, you're the first person who's actually listened to me." And I said, "Well, that's because people are probably scared of you. You know, if people look funny at you, it's not because you're in a wheelchair at all. You know, it's not because you have these disabilities. It's because they look at you and they see a grenade waiting to go off. That is the impression that you give. You are permanently simmering." And he said, "You know, you're my guardian angel." And I said, "Don't be silly. No, not at all. You know, I've just done what I normally do, which is pay attention to people, listen. You know, everyone's got issues, everyone's got their stories to tell. But so few people are willing to take the time, whether that's because they've got their own agenda, whether it's because they don't want to deal with somebody else's issues, I don't know. But I guess the reason I'm making this video is to kind of point out and show that sometimes we just need to listen. Just take the time. You know, when I eventually looked at my watch, 2 hours had gone by. And it was nothing to me, because that guy needed that time. It's just such a shame that more people aren't prepared to do that. More people aren't approachable. And it's such a shame, you know, where animals that need to be around people. You know, I suffer from avoidant personality disorder, which is something I'll probably go into at another time, and it just makes it very, very difficult for me to approach people. But I'd like to think that people actually find it quite easy to approach me, and in my experience that has been the case. I don't know what the issue is with society now. I mean, that guy, you know, he ended up very much calmer than he'd started, and we shook hands, and, you know, he thanked me immensely, and it was just because I'd taken some time out of my day to listen to this guy talk. You know, why can't we just take that time with each other? You know, why can't we offer an ear? You know, that guy was a complete stranger, but I thought nothing of taking some time out of my day to listen to him. Because that's all he needed, was some time and somebody to show him that he wasn't worthless. You know, I hope that, you know, moving forward, that society can become a bit more like that. You know, it's not all about likes on Instagram and Facebook. You know, it's about real life, it's about real people. And the more we help each other, the better we feel and the better they feel. So to me, it's a win-win, it's a no-brainer. So that was the curious incident that happened to me on Saturday, but it highlighted something that I just wanted to log down, really. You know, I'm more than happy to appreciate any comments that anybody would want to make regarding this or mental health in general. But thank you for listening, and I dare say I will catch up with you again soon. Bye for now.